Welcome to this introductory video all about Smartboard MX. With the Smartboard MX V4, Smart have really changed the game. The world-leading technology, but the quality and longevity is beyond compare. So it's the only touch technology on the market that allows for true multi-user interactivity. So if I want to write on something, I can write on it. I can move things around, and if multiple users are doing that, then they can just come up to the board and do that anywhere. And that is across all applications as well, that consistent approach. Whether that's teachers, whether that's educators, whether that's students, they can all write, erase, and use those gestures all at the same time across any of those platforms and independently, not kind of interfering with others' choices as well. So if I just erase those now, so it looks nicer. So with the Smartboard MX series, this V4 here, it recognizes all of those and it's smart enough to understand whether you're in Smart Notebook here, or if I've opened up a PDF or even on a web browser as well, all of those applications there, those pen choices continue throughout as well. Or if I, for example, change one to let's grab a pen, let's grab a red pen, I can then continue that expression, continue that movement, whatever application I'm in, continue to that there as well. Even jumping back into a Smart Notebook file, it's going to continue that pen choice throughout there as well. So minimizing all of these, you can see that I've started here, as a few to minimize, I've started here with my connected PC. What I'm actually going to do now is jump and press that home button, which takes me to the Smartboard directly. Now, this Smartboard MX V4 here is powered by iQ, which is an Android 11 based computer. So I've got nothing attached here, straight out of the box here. And this iQ unit here gives teachers everything that they need to teach competently at their fingertips, regardless of their tech level comfort as well. So any of the content I've got in here, like a web browser, any existing content that I've done already, or if I want to create new, I can just go straight to this whiteboard here and access all that within there. So if I just have a quick look here, I can access different backgrounds from there. And again, that same consistent approach, that pen's a pen, finger's a finger, and the multiple users can actually come and actually do that all at the same time, straight from within the board here. And of course, if I don't want that different background here, I've got lots of different tools quickly accessing from the side here. So if I click on this plus button, these pedagogically backed templates here, like a Freya model, or it might be that I'm adding in a handwriting guide, a note-taking, or if I'm just going to a brainstorming activity, all of those are kind of quick one touch away from those graphic organizers. Or if I choose to have digital manipulatives, they're all in there as well. I've got some exit tickets. I can have that straight from within the board itself. So you might have noticed some other tools down the side here. I can change the different pens, so I actually want to change all my fingers inking as well. I've got that true multi-touch interface here. So whether that's, I can have 20 points of touch, I could have 20 learners all coming up to the board at the same time, but that same consistent approach comes from that. I'm just going to turn that off before I forget. I can add in other widgets down here, clocks, timers, spinners, some great maths tools from there as well. Or if I want to search the web, a safe search of the web, adding that educational content, I can do that straight from in there as well. Just literally search for that, whether that's images or videos, and I can have those directly from in the board itself. And of course, if I want to have my students connected to this as well, here's my whiteboard, but I can actually, on this whiteboard here, I can connect my learners for this as well. And you can see I've connected the Chromebook here. So as soon as I click start on this session here, I had my whiteboard, but my whiteboard is now also sharing on my student devices. And I can actually change that to a collaborative session as well. So all of my learners can connect through their device, whatever it might be. Again, because it's web-based, there's no need for an app. There's no need for any install on their device. And they can all come to collaborate together on that whole class whiteboard. Let's exit that one there. So I'm back into my whiteboard here. Sometimes I want to display more than my whiteboard. So actually on this here, I can enable split screen. So I can have split screen itself. So I might be having my whiteboard, but then I can choose my other applications at the side. And it's, for example, go into my web browser. So if I exit that one now, just drag that straight across, I can now see I'm on my full screen page of my web browser here. And that's just obviously another app that we're going through. So rather than doing it through a split screen mode, I could have just pressed home. And then from that home button, I can navigate to anything like we were just at, that web browser. And here I can access any of my content that I've got stored online, whether that's through Moodle, whether that's through Google Drive, OneDrive, whatever other content it is. I can go to those different applications, different web pages, and access those as well. And of course, I can access Lumio straight from the browser here as well. All of that content straight from in there. Let's go home for there. So we've looked at a whiteboard, quick access to that. I've got my browser as well. And then just looking down here, I've got my files. So within my files, all those whiteboards that I've done, all those annotations that I've got are going to be saved straight from within here. And of course, if I've got any other content, I can access that straight from my files itself here as well in there. So as well as my files, I can just move along the bottom here and I can just look at screen share for an example. So screen share allows me to share devices directly to the screen here. I can have a live feed of 4 of those devices, but then I can have every other student as well teed up in the background so I can select them and then they can go large screen as well. This can be done natively, it can be done through an app, or it can just be going through a website itself as well. It's making it really easy to share your content, whatever content that be. Whether that's a live feed of an iPad or something like that, whether it's an application running from a Chromebook wirelessly, or whether you just wanted to teach from your Windows PC wirelessly so you can walk around the room and operate it from that device, and then it will show mirrorcast straight up to the board here itself as well from there. So let's just jumping back to the home button here, and let's just open up one of those files. In fact, I've opened up recently, so I can go straight to my recent files. So before we connect an additional computer through my USB ports here, I'm just going to have a quick look around the actual hardware itself. So you can see down here, I've got my NFC card, so I can actually log into my own profile for that. I've got a microphone array at the top here. So any application that I'm using from this, it's a great mic. It'll really pick up that sound within the room itself there. Down the left-hand side, you can see your power buttons, your pause, your freeze button, as well as your volume buttons at the side there. You might notice that your home button is more conveniently placed at the front here. And then you've got some guest ports at the front here if you are plugging somebody else's machine in, or even ease of access in plugging your own at the front there as well. So all of these ports can be managed within Smart's remote management software, as well as things like deploying apps and actually all the settings from the board itself. The board itself does have automatic over-the-air updates, so that will continue to do it, and that's less work for IT management to do as well. So as well as the smart board coming with all those free upgrades itself, you'll have that warranty as well. So here in the UK, it's a 5-year warranty, and that can be extended to 7 years on request for that as well. So the Smartboard MX is built to last 50,000 hours. So here at Smart, we really are committed to a greener planet, and things like making custom packaging to reduce the overall carbon footprint when smartboards are shipped all around the world. The Smartboard MX V4 is eco-designed, and it has been made from 100% renewable energy as well. So all of this comes directly with your Smartboard MX V4. Straight out of the box, no additional purchases, no additional licenses, and that is really why, like I said at the beginning, Smart really does believe that it's the game changer and the market leader when it comes to true multi-user interactivity, a device that supports the teaching and the learning in your setting. So pressing the home button, I can choose a few ways to now get to my PC. I can click on my input button. I've got another one down the side here, and it just gives me a live preview of things plugged in. So I click on my PC here, and now it'll go straight into my PC here. So I've got this plugged in with one cable, that USB-C, and that's going to do charging as well as data for touch and audio and visual, everything like that, straight from that one cable. And of course, if you do want to plug it in your own way, we looked at the ports beforehand as well. And now I'm in this PC, again, it's that leading multi-user touch as well. On my Windows PC, or if I had a Mac plugged in as well, I've got that 20 points of touch throughout. So if I just change my finger here to a pen, I can easily just have that one annotation, or if I'm wanting 20 students to actually collaborate at this device, I can as well. And that extends to that industry-leading 10 points of touch on Chrome OS as well. So whether students are coming to collaborate in the IQ unit, or through a connected device as well. Again, whichever connected device, they're having that consistent experience. Pen being a pen, finger being a finger. In case in this case, I've changed my finger to a pen. Now I'm going to change it back. So that consistent approach wherever it is. Pen's a pen, finger's a finger, palm to erase. And if I'm doing that all at the same time, I can really have that multiple users coming to do that on all those applications, not just an acetate. So if I'm looking at a browser here, I've already quickly shown you the annotations, so I'm just going to rub that out. But actually, if I am annotating on that tab there, I go to another tab. You can see these annotations I've done before, and even up to that one there. Those are staying within that tab. Continue that into a PDF document. I open this one here, palm to erase, pen. I've still got that movement. So I'm now actually annotating within that PDF. So any annotations I'm making up here are in that PDF. Nearly said PowerPoint because that's where I was going to go next. So in the same way, I've got this PowerPoint. I can annotate within that one. I can scroll to the next page. I can scroll back again. And those annotations are staying within it as well. I've all those annotation tools there as well. Highlighters, other different color pens straight from that. And then when I exit that, all those annotations are automatically saved within my PowerPoint. And obviously I can choose to save those with or without. That consistent approach there really means that the teachers, the educators, the learners, the students, everyone can really focus on the learning rather than kind of how do I use that tech. It's that consistent approach wherever you're doing from that as well. And part of that download is these smart ink toolbars here as well. So these are floating toolbars here, again, so they'll annotate over the top of anything. And there's loads of rich material in there that really enhances the way that you can really interact with any of those applications, annotating within them, not just over the top. And that comes with that download, that free download of Smart Notebook 23 that is completely complementary with your smartboard and no additional license required. So looking at that download, Smart Notebook here, if I just add in a blank page, this is Smart Notebook version 23. Subscription-free software. It's perfect for creating really dynamic lessons. And it really differs from like PowerPoint to those PDFs where you've created a lot of that content beforehand and kind of showing it. What Smart Notebook is a lot more an adaptive way of actually teaching and delivering as well. So for example, me being a former primary teacher, I can bring up something like a number line. And on that, I can then have a coin. I can move these around within it. I could do something simple like infinitely clone and bring these on and count with them. So yes, the students need to have those physical manipulatives, but if I can add those tools here and actually come and move them around, knowing that my finger is going to be a finger, my pen is going to be a pen, I can then actually annotate on those. Let's do it a bit neater. And have that movement, have that way of teaching really strongly supported from this educational software, Notebook 23. And as well as that gallery from there, there's lots of other things. There's lots of other pens within there as well. A great text pen for editing and improving work. I've got a shape recognition pen. So if I just click that with a pen, and then I can actually draw those shapes and they appear to be there. And as well as other lots and lots of different bits within as well. There's some great measurement tools within that, loads and loads for you to go and learn and have a play with and really support the learning of that as well. Some of the great additions to Smart Notebook 23, if I'm going to this gallery at the side here, these ready-made activities. Again, we've looked at these within the IQ unit, the Android unit, and they're all down here as well. So I can add in that brainstorming activity, and I've got all those templates built into this as well. There's been a huge amount of security enhancements within Notebook 23 as well. So like I said, it's that free download available from smarttech.com. So Smart Notebook really does make the Smartboard MXV4 that true multi-user experience. Something like we're on that previous page here, where students can both come up and they can all move those at once at the same time. So it's how do I want to interact? How do I want to engage with that content? Whether that's making new content, whether that's bringing in existing content, you're going to get that consistent approach throughout as well. So everything we've looked at so far, comes straight out of the box, that IQ unit. The teachers can confidently come up and access that content straight from their fingertips, regardless of their tech comfort. Or this connected PC here, it really does continue that multi-user experience for educators and for students as well there. So if I just open up this other file here, and we'll look at Smart Notebook software in a bit more detail. So I've looked at Smart Notebook, and of course there's a bank of online resources if you want to look at more for that as well. And plus you might be aware that Smart also offers subscription-based software. And subscription-based software will give you then access to Smart Notebook Plus. It will enhance your IQ experience, and it also gives you unlimited storage within Lumio as well. All of those are going to be accessed through your single sign-on details, whether that's Google or Microsoft. You just use your existing school email address, put that in the Smart Software portal, and then you'll have access to everything for there as well. So let's look at that, how that works in the IQ unit. So pressing that home button, coming back to the Android unit itself. And if I just open up one of those whiteboards we had beforehand. So here I've got that brainstorming activity. Now I've got those connected to students, I can click start and you can see then it appears on their device as the free version had. But what I'll have access to now, I have got that Smart Software license. I have access to individual handouts, the group handouts, as well as the whole class group as well. So if I want to then have that enriched experience for the learners as well, I've got that choice of how I want to engage with them. Pressing that home button, let's jump back into my computer as well. And through the USB-C cable. So that was how it enhances the IQ unit itself. Jumping back into Smart Notebook here, Smart Notebook Plus really enhances the user's engagement with their resources as well by adding different activities, assessments that can be used either at the front of the class here or can link up to the student's device as well. A great way for them to have feedback or those opportunities to really reflect on their learning as well. So that's Smart Notebook Plus. In addition to that, that license will also give you access to Lumio. Lumio is a completely cloud-based offering. So I'm just going to a website here. And then here is Lumio. So let's just click on this page here. So Lumio really does enhance the lessons in a very interactive, collaborative way. It engages with the students not only at the front, but also on their devices, wherever they are. It's a really easy way to kind of up-level your lessons. So if I just go and end this lesson here, what I can do, go back to my library, is I can import that content already. And you can see here that I can import PowerPoints, PDF, Google Slides, notebooks, or PowerPoints, and they can all come into that. So instead of just the students consuming that content, they can have it in a much more engaging, active way where they can explore, collaborate, question, reflect on their learning, not, like I said, not just consuming it as well. So let's have a look at one of these itself. So if I just click on start on one of these lessons, and you can see that then it's on the student's device as well. So as I go through the lesson here, add the annotations that I've already made beforehand, they've got those there as well. If I want to add any more annotations, I can just add those to that, and you can see in real time those appearing up on the student's device as well. If I wanted to then have a page where, rather than me sharing that information to them, I can then convert this, what was a very static page, into an individual handout. As an example, I could have done group or whole class. So then it gives the student that individual choice as well. They can then collaborate. They can then have their own work here. And then as a teacher, I can click on that student's work, and anything that they do will then appear real time on this. Or if this teacher answers right, they can give that prompt before they start. Or a student can add on here, and let's just add in a tick. And then the student can put that on their particular favorite, and then it appears real time within there as well. And obviously for the same for group or individual work, I can have those students collaborating within that lesson as well. Or rather than being teacher-paced, I can now have it on student-paced. So it might be that the student is continuing that lesson, continue with that work here, but they need to refer to that key information that had already been displayed earlier in the lesson. Or it might be once they finish that one, they can continue clicking on these dots down here, go onto the extension, further down the lesson as they move on, really kind of freeing them up to teach and to learn in the way that they want to. So that was taking that very static PowerPoint or Google Slides or PDF and imported it into itself here. Now I can either edit that lesson itself there, or I can end it and edit there. Once I begin to lumify that lesson, if you like, I've got a load more content, again, in the similar add button down the side here. I can begin to add additional content from other providers like advert-free YouTube or the graphing calculator from Desmos or PhET simulations. It might be that I'm adding those rich pedagogically backed backgrounds, templates that we saw before, that brainstorming activity. Or it might be that I'm adding lots more games and assessments straight from within here, something like a fill in the blanks activity that I can put that closed text and put those gaps so the students can then have that on their device as well as being on the front of the display here. And there's lots and lots of different ones, different activities in there. To see more about each one, click on those buttons there. So I can really begin to really up-level and upskill that lesson to make it much more engaging and interactive for the students themselves. Or if, of course, I want to actually look at existing content, I can click on my Lumio Library at the top here and see lots of other content within here as well. Some great ones for music at the top, classroom management, some wellbeing resources, and lots more within that as well for you to just go and take and open up and use straight from in there as well. So Lumio really is that flexible time-saving tool that helps you create and really collaborate with your students themselves, either at the front of the class or on their device, using that existing content that's already been made, or bringing in your own, drag and dropping it straight from in there itself. And if you already have that smart software license, you'll already have access to Lumio. Go to lumio.io and you'll have full access to that. Or for a free trial, you can do the same for that as well. So let's just jump back into the overview of the MX itself here. So I hope you found this video informative, and hopefully it's given you a bit of an overview of the MX version 4 here itself and the IQ that powers it as well. So it really is, as I've kind of said throughout this kind of quick introductory video here, it really is that true multi-user interactive resource. At the front of the class, whether that's a connected PC or whether it's the Android unit itself, that consistent approach so that students, multiple learners, multiple educators can use it all at once for this here. If you want to know more about the MX V4, just go to smarttech.com or of course contact your local reseller and they'll be able to offer you a full demo for this as well. Any other questions, comments or support that we can be, please put them below in the comments and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Many thanks.